Hello students, and welcome to lesson 3, doubling cubes. So remember yesterday when we were looking at our arrays and we were labeling the different sides. Quickly in your notebook, go ahead and label the sides of this array. You should have written down 4, 3, and 2. Now, sometimes when we were writing these things, we were writing them like 4, 3, and 2. But we actually write dimensions in a different way. And that's exactly what these numbers are called. When we label the sides of our array, we call those numbers dimensions. And a dimension is the number of cubes in that area. For instance, if I labeled this area with a 4, that means the dimension is 4. If I labeled this area with a 3, that means the dimension is 3 over here. And if I labeled the dimension here with a 2, that means the dimension is a 2 over here. Now, if we wanted to describe the dimensions of this prism, we would use these numbers to represent the dimensions, but we would write them in a specific way. And let me show you how we would write them. Now, you might be saying, Ms. Sherm, that looks like a multiplication problem, and you're right, it does. But when we're doing dimensions, we use the x's in between the numbers to symbolize the word by. So this actually reads, when we're talking about a prism, 2 by 3 by 4. So for the purposes of these activities, that you'll be working on, the order of the numbers really isn't that important. What is important that you know that each of the numbers represents a side of the rectangular prism. So some of you might say 2 by 3 by 4, some of you might say 3 by 2 by 4, some of you might say 4 by 3 by 2, okay? Doesn't really matter, just so that you know what each number represents. So let's say the packaging factory wants you to package a amount of toys that is double the dimensions, okay? So how many boxes do you think you can find that will hold that twice as many cubes, okay? So right now I want you to think about these dimensions, 2 by 3 by 4. What would be the dimensions of a package that would hold twice as much? Twice as much. I want you to go ahead and write that in your notes, and we'll talk about it in the morning.